You think the rich buy luxury cars to impress you. You are wrong. You think they build empires just to see their names on buildings. Wrong again. You see money as a tool for consumerism. They see money as a tool for architectural control. The mistake you make is believing that money is only about wealth. In the real world, the dark, silent world where power is the only currency, money is the ultimate mechanism of psychological manipulation. It is the invisible string that allows the elite to become puppet masters, moving people, systems, and destinies without ever breaking a sweat. Today, we go beyond the bank accounts. We unveil the silent, calculating ways the rich use money to control the very thoughts, actions, and loyalties of everyone around them. They will not tell you this. I will. Welcome to Silent Wealth Strategy. The first and most powerful psychological weapon of the elite is not the checkbook, it is the currency of emotional debt. Average people buy gifts to show affection. The rich provide solutions to buy loyalty. When an ultra-wealthy individual sees someone they may need in the future, they don't immediately trade value. They analyze a vulnerability. A medical bill, a failing business, a desire for an ungettable connection. Then, they provide a clean, overwhelming solution, no strings attached, initially. But the strings are attached, not legally, but psychologically. They understand a fundamental rule of human nature, the law of reciprocation. By erasing a critical problem for you, they create an open-ended, emotional obligation in your subconscious. They didn't just help you, they bought the right to ask for a favor later. When that favor comes, it will be significant, and you will feel morally bound to repay it. They never pay the full price for loyalty, they buy it on psychological credit, and they never, ever let you pay off the balance. Your environment dictates your perspective. If you are struggling for survival, you are focused on the immediate. The powerful create environments that force everyone around them to share their focus. Wealthy environments, penthouses, private yachts, exclusive boardrooms, are not just for comfort, they are tactical psychological spaces. They represent a curated reality. When you enter an elite's manufactured environment, you are overwhelmed by the visible scale of their power. You are designed to feel small, lucky, and dependent on their approval to remain in that space. This manufactured environment also applies to choice. The rich use money to narrow your options. When you are dependent on their contract, their investment, or their employment, your ability to think critically about them is compromised. They create a golden cage. The cage is comfortable, well lit, and provides for all your immediate needs, but it is still a cage. Your survival is now linked to their success. They don't have to force you to comply, they've created a reality where your only logical choice is compliance. True puppet masters don't just control your physical needs, they manipulate your future desires. They study leveraged ambition. They identify what you want most in the world, a position, status, a critical connection, and they position themselves as the only bridge to that ambition. Money, in this context, is not a reward, it is a mechanism of withholding. They provide you with enough success to keep you motivated, but never enough to make you independent. They keep you hungry. They keep you chasing the golden carrot. This is the Machiavellian art of perpetual withholding. When you depend on another person to achieve your dreams, you have effectively handed them the keys to your emotional and professional control panel. They can accelerate your career, or they can crush your trajectory. To maintain control, you begin to self-censor. You become overly accommodating. You anticipate their needs and suppress your own. They haven't said a word, but your entire psychological profile has shifted to serve them, all in the pursuit of an ambition that they manage. The elite will often broadcast the idea that society is a meritocracy, that the best and most hardworking rise. This is the fourth dark truth: the rich use money to build an intricate, illusory meritocracy. They don't just buy the result, they buy the system that legitimizes the result. They fund the universities, they own the media outlets that define success, and they sit on the boards of the institutions that validate credentials. This creates a psychological environment where the masses accept their position, believing that if they just work harder, they will be given the keys to the golden kingdom. In reality, They use their capital to protect their own position and elevate their chosen allies. The open game is a distraction. They don't want to compete, they want to inherit the board. But they need you to believe the game is fair so that you will trade your energy, your hours, and your ideas in a pursuit that is ultimately managed to enrich them. They use money to validate the power structure itself, ensuring that your own psychological drive to succeed serves their ultimate control. Finally, the masterstroke of the puppet master, the weapon of silence. In relationships and business, the loudest person is rarely the most powerful. True, dark luxury wealth is quiet. The truly rich understand that the perception of immense capital is often more controlling than the capital itself. They don't broadcast their power, they withhold it. This creates a vacuum of information. If no one knows the full extent of your leverage, no one can accurately plan to counter it. They use money to maintain this silence. They use legal entities, trusts, and family offices to hide the true scale of their control. By concealing their hands, they remain untouchable. When you display your wealth, you are vulnerable to attack, audit, and envy. When you bury it in silence, you maintain tactical movement. Their control is effective not because it is obvious, but because it is unpredictable. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it is the ultimate psychological demonstration of untouchable power. The strings are always there, moving in the silence. You have seen how the architecture of control is built, not with bricks, but with capital, leverage, and the strategic understanding of human psychology. You have a choice: you can remain a piece on the board, celebrating your comfortable dependency, or you can begin to see the strings. Silent wealth strategy is the archive for those who choose to observe, learn, and position themselves outside the cage. If you are ready to master the dark mechanics of wealth and power, subscribe, hit the bell, and welcome to the inner circle. The choice, as always, is yours. Wait, or execute.